I'm 25 years old now, and just recently, I went to celebrate my dad's 49th birthday with the family. But hold on, before I dive into that story, I've got to fill you in on some drama between me and my younger brother, who's 22. This whole mess started about 3 years ago. Back then, I was dating this girl. We'll call her C, and she was 24 at the time. C and I were super close since high school. She was my world, and I thought I meant the same to her. The drama unfolded around Thanksgiving. I was out picking up some desserts for the holiday after crashing at a buddy's place because I was helping them move. When I finally got back to my place, I noticed something weird. C and all her stuff were gone. I tried calling her, but no luck. It just rang out to voicemail. I even tried to check where she was through her phone's location thingy, but it looked like she turned it off. Curious and a bit worried, I decided to check the footage from my front door camera. And guess what I saw? My own brother was there, helping C move her things into his car, and then they both just drove off. After seeing my brother helping C move out, I immediately tried to call him, but just like C, he wouldn't pick up his phone either. This made me super anxious and jumped to all kinds of conclusions. But then a part of me was like, no way, my brother wouldn't do something like this to me. You see, growing up, my brother and I were super close, practically best friends. Sure, we didn't hang out as much after I went off to college, but we still kept in touch, talked a lot, and even hung out whenever we could. So, in a bit of a panic and looking for answers, I called my dad and basically got him to have my mom call my brother. They put him on speakerphone, and when my mom straight up asked him where C was, his answer felt like a punch in the gut. He said, "She's living with me now. She broke up with OP." I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was frozen, hoping it was some sick joke. I went and checked his Facebook and Instagram for any clues, and there it was. Pictures of them together, hugging and kissing. That just broke me. All these thoughts were racing through my head, trying to figure out why he would do something like this. I was so hurt, but then that hurt turned into anger. How could my brother, who was supposed to be my best friend, betray me like this? Fueled by that anger, I drove straight to his place and started banging on his door, demanding he come out and face me. But instead of my brother, it was C who opened the door. I totally lost it and started bawling my eyes out. It all went down when I saw her. And then, out of nowhere, my brother pops into the room from the kitchen and is like, "Hey, go upstairs." That's when he drops this bomb on me. He and she were sneaking around behind my back. He's been sorry about it since my second year in college. But then, to make things even more dramatic, C marches down the stairs and goes, "You know why I dumped you? Because I was tired of pretending to even like you." That moment was a real eye-opener for me. The girl standing in front of me, she wasn't the girl I thought I was in love with. She was someone completely different. And I started thinking, is all of this drama even worth my time? Pretty quickly, I figured out the answer was a big fat no, and I just walked away. I always try to keep things chill and not cause a scene, especially when I know getting upset won't change anything that's happened. But let me be clear, I was super angry at both of them, and I decided right then and there that they were out of my life for good. Fast forward to now, I'm living my life in California, still flying solo. There was this family get-together that was going pretty okay, until guess who shows up? My brother and his wife, and yep, they're pushing a stroller. Turns out they got married and didn't waste any time starting a family. So after everything that's happened, I'm in a place where I'm over it. Therapy helped me see that I wasn't the one messing things up. She was the problem. At a family thing, my brother tried to chat with me, but I just wasn't having it. I just kept talking to my aunt instead. After a bit, I kind of forgot my brother and his wife were even there. Then, when I was on my way to grab some more ice cream from the basement, my brother comes out of nowhere, scaring the heck out of me. He tried to say sorry for the mess he caused 3 years back, but I wasn't about to stop and listen. I just walked right by him. He didn't try to talk to me again that night. The next morning, though, my phone was blowing up with texts from my mom. She was all about me forgiving my brother, saying it's the right thing to do. Both my parents are pretty religious and have already forgiven him. But here's the thing, I can't do it. What he did messed up my ability to trust. He knew how important she was to me, and he went behind my back anyway, thinking I'd just be okay with it. But forgiving him? That's something I don't see happening, ever. Update time. Before I dive into the update, just want to say thanks to everyone who shared their thoughts on my situation. Though, gotta say, some of you were pushing for me to get back at my brother in not so nice ways, including cutting him out for good. I get where you're coming from, but I need to clear up a few things. I'm not trying to make my mom and dad out to be the bad guys here. They actually forgave my brother way before we found out his wife was expecting a baby. And honestly, fighting my brother? That would just land me in trouble, like possibly ending up in jail, and it would just make things messier in the family. Now for the update. I had a serious talk with my mom, dad, and brother. We all sat down in my parents' living room and I just laid it all out on the table. I told them straight up how I feel about what my brother did. It's the kind of thing you can't just say it's okay and move on from. It's not about holding a grudge forever. It's more like I can't see myself wanting anything to do with him again. How can I be cool with someone who went behind my back with my friend's girlfriend? And even worse, his own brother? That's not the kind of person I want in my life. My brother tried to defend himself, saying he's changed and wouldn't make the same mistake again. But here's the thing, what he did really shook my trust to its core. He knew how much she meant to me and still went ahead with it, thinking it would all just blow over. But I just don't see how I can forgive that kind of betrayal. It's not just about what happened, it's about the trust he broke. And getting past that? It's not something I can see happening, not now, not ever. So there I was, having a real heart-to-heart with my brother and our parents, trying to make sense of everything. My brother, trying to make amends, acted like the past was just a tiny mistake, forgetting he went as far as marrying and having a baby with the girl I was planning a future with. I was like, really? And couldn't help but ask my folks how they managed to forgive him. They told me they were super disappointed in him at first, but after he found religion and started to preach, they believed he changed for the better and let it go. I had to ask them, though, if they could forgive him so easily if they were in my shoes. They said yes, they would have, but honestly I couldn't buy it. We went back and forth for a bit until my brother tried to tell me I shouldn't hold grudges, and I'm there thinking, you're one to talk. So I told him straight up that maybe he shouldn't have gone after someone else's girlfriend in the first place. That hit a nerve, and he actually started to cry. My mom jumped in saying I was being too harsh since he's already said sorry and made amends for his actions. That's when I laid it all out on the line for them, just like some of you suggested. I told them they had to make a choice. Either they respect my decision to steer clear of my brother and move on, or I'd have no choice but to distance myself from all of them, including my brother and his family. It was tough, but it had to be said. So after all that intense back and forth, my dad drops this line on me, saying I'd end up regretting it if I didn't forgive my brother. That made me stop and ask them straight up if that's really how they felt about the whole situation. My mom, with a sigh, finally said, fine. She admitted that they'd just have to accept my decision to keep my distance from my brother. I looked to my dad for his take, and he simply added, yeah. Feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion, I thanked them for sitting down and talking it out with me. Then, I turned to my brother, and I just had to be honest. I told him that no matter what he did from here on out, there was no way we could go back to how things were. I wished him well, but made it clear our paths were parting for good. After that, I just had to get out of there. I drove off to grab some In-N-Out because honestly, after a conversation like that, you just need a good burger and fries to help you decompress. When I got home, I was so worn out from the whole ordeal that I crashed hard. I mean, the second my head hit the pillow, I was out. Now today's a new day, and I've decided it's time to really start moving forward. I went ahead and downloaded a couple of dating apps. It feels like a good step towards getting past all this drama and starting fresh. Update 2. So, where do I even start with this mess? Feels like I've been riding the world's worst emotional roller coaster, and honestly, I'm just about ready to get off. Let's kick it off with that family gathering for my dad's 49th. Yeah, that was something. But hold up, let me backtrack a bit for those just tuning in. Me and my bro, we used to be tight, like best buds tight. Then this whole debacle with my ex C went down about 3 years back. She and I were high school sweethearts, and then boom, out of nowhere. She bails with my brother's help. Found out through a door cam and socials, yeah, they were together. Talk about a stab in the back, right? Fast forward to now, I'm in Cali doing my thing. Single and kind of mingling. That family gathering I mentioned, it went from 0 to 100 real quick when my brother shows up with C and their baby. I've had enough therapy to not let it mess with me too much, but it still sucked. He tried to chat me up, but I wasn't having any of it. Then the next day, my phone's blowing up with texts from my mom, going on about forgiving my brother because of their religious beliefs and all that. But here's the thing, how do you just forgive and forget something like that? It's not just about what he did, but how it all went down. That kind of betrayal doesn't just vanish. But here's the real update. I had a sit down with my folks and my brother, laid it all out, how I felt, what it did to me, the whole 9 yards. My brother's there trying to say he's changed. But come on, he married the girl he stole from me. My parents are all about forgiveness, but I just couldn't. We went back and forth until I hit them with an ultimatum. Accept that I want nothing to do with him, or I'm out for good. Dad tried to guilt me into forgiving, saying I'd regret it otherwise. But nah, I stood my ground. They finally got it, or at least they said they did. Told my brother straight up, there's no coming back from this, and peaced out. Ended the night with some in and out, because why not? Next day figured it was time to give the whole dating scene another shot. Downloaded a few apps and started swiping. Who knows, maybe it's time to finally turn the page on this whole saga. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Moving on, slowly but surely. Still a bit rough around the edges, but who isn't, right? Here's to whatever comes next. Update 3. So there I was, finally feeling like I'm getting my groove back, thanks to meeting Jay on one of those dating apps. You know, one of those rare matches that makes you think maybe the universe isn't totally out to get you. Jay's this amazing soul, kind, funny, and gets my weird sense of humor. We hit it off instantly, and it felt like I was finally turning a new leaf, leaving all the past drama where it belongs, in the trash. But as luck would have it, life loves throwing curveballs, especially when you least expect it. Enter C, stage left, sliding into my DMs like we're back in high school or something. Apparently, after she and my brother decided to play house together, things took a nosedive. My brother, the golden boy, found himself caught up in some serious drug issues. And see, she's on the brink of financial ruin, talking about how she can't make ends meet, and how she's been thinking about me, us, and all that jazz. She's laying it on thick, talking about regrets, what could have been, and dropping hints like she's ready for take 2. I mean, the audacity, right? There I was, trying to mend my heart, move on, and she thinks she can just waltz back into my life with a sob story and a my bad. The drama didn't stop there, though. My parents, bless their hearts, caught wind of C reaching out to me. Next thing I know, I'm getting calls left and right, texts piling up, all of them singing the same tune. Give her another chance, she's changed, family forgives, and all that. It was like they forgot the whole saga of betrayal that went down. Suddenly, I'm the bad guy for wanting to keep my peace and sanity intact. Then, as if I needed more drama, my brother reaches out. Yeah, Mr. I Stole Your Girl wants to chat, saying he's hit rock bottom and needs family more than ever. I mean, come on. The guy who wrecked my world wants a lifeline? It was almost too much to process. But here's the kicker. Amidst all this chaos, there was Jay, standing by me like some kind of superhero without a cape. We sat down one night, a bottle of cheap wine and 2 glasses, and just talked it all out. She listened, really listened, and offered her 2 cents without pushing me in any direction. Her take? Do what's right for you, not what's easy or what others expect. That talk was a game changer. It helped me see things clearly, not just through a lens of hurt and betrayal, but through what I really wanted for my future. So I decided to take the high road. Well, sort of. I replied to C, my words carefully chosen, wishing her well, but making it crystal clear that our chapter was done and dusted. No looking back, no rewrites. Hit the block button faster than you can say closure. As for my brother and the family drama, I laid down my boundaries. It wasn't easy, but necessary. I told them I'm moving forward, with or without their approval. The whole situation was like ripping off a Band-Aid that's been stuck on for too long. Painful, but oh so relieving once it's done. Now it's just me and Jay, navigating this crazy thing called life together. We're taking it one day at a time, making memories and laughing through the madness. And as for the past, it's in the rearview mirror, getting smaller by the minute. So, yeah, that's the latest chapter in the saga that is my life. It's been a roller coaster, but I'm finally learning to enjoy the ride, twists, turns, and all. Here's to new beginnings, leaving the drama behind and maybe, just maybe, finding a little bit of peace amidst the chaos. Update 4. So, Jay and I have been going strong, right? She's been this incredible source of strength and understanding through all the madness. We've been doing our thing, exploring, laughing, and really just soaking up the good vibes. Life with her felt like I was finally on the upswing, like maybe I could close the chapter on all the past hurt and betrayal. But here's where the plot thickens. Out of nowhere, my brother, let's call him Mr. Rollercoaster, decides to crash back into my life with a vengeance. He's been on a rough path, and now suddenly, he's all about making amends, talking about getting clean, and wanting to reconnect. He even started showing up at places he knew I'd be, talking about fate and second chances. Just when I thought I could navigate that minefield, C pops back up. But this time, it's not just a text or a call. She shows up in person, tears in her eyes, talking about how she's hit rock bottom, her life with my brother turned into a nightmare of addiction and financial despair. She's looking at me like I'm some kind of lifeboat in her sea of chaos. And here's the cherry on top. My parents are back on their family is everything crusade, pushing me to forgive, forget, and play happy families again. They're orchestrating family dinners like we're in some sort of sitcom, where everything resolves in 30 minutes with hugs and life lessons. Jay's been an absolute saint through it all, but I can tell it's wearing on her too. It's one thing to deal with your own drama, but it's another to have someone else's circus pitch a tent in your backyard. So, after a lot of thought, soul-searching, and more than a few late-night talks with Jay, I decided to take a stand. I met with my brother, face to face, in a neutral spot. Told him I'm willing to support his recovery, but I'm not about to rewind the clock and pretend we can pick up where we left off. As for C, I wished her well, truly, but made it clear that our paths diverged a long time ago for a reason. The family dinner showdown was something out of a movie. I laid it all out, my terms for moving forward, how I felt, and what I needed from them if we were going to have any sort of relationship. It wasn't easy. There were tears, raised voices, and more than a few moments where I thought I might just walk out and not look back. But believe it or not, it ended with a semblance of understanding. Maybe not full-blown acceptance, but a step towards mutual respect for each other's boundaries and choices. Jay was right there with me, a pillar of strength and my unwavering supporter. As for what's next, I'm taking it one day at a time, focusing on building a life with Jay, navigating the complexities of familial relationships, and most importantly, learning to trust the process. It's not perfect, far from it, but it's real, it's mine, and I'm determined to make the most of it, come what may. So yeah, that's the latest. Life's a journey, and I'm just here trying to enjoy the ride, bumps and all. Here's to moving forward, finding peace, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of happiness along the way. Story 2. Hey y'all. So I'm sorry this is so long, but first off, these past 2 weeks have been hell for me until today. I found out on Tuesday that my boy for over a year had been cheating on me damn near the whole relationship with 4 to 5 different girls, and had got some random girl pregnant that he met on Facebook. He said he cheated on me after Christmas. Yet, I found out from his stepmom and stepbrother that he had been cheating for months with different girls. We were planning our life together, talking about kids, marriage, our goals, buying a house, etc. I never saw this coming. I trusted him. I loved him. My family loved him. I was so excited for our future. He never once made me think he was cheating. He was very attentive, loving, and caring, up until about a month ago, when I noticed we were having sex less. He barely complimented me, didn't want to kiss me, getting irritated with me over little things, etc. We had a talk 2 weeks ago, and I brought up how he had been acting. I asked him if he was still attracted to me, if he wanted to be single. Was he stressed out? I told him he could be single if he wanted to, but to just be honest with me. He told me that he wanted to be with me, but just felt like he wasn't where he should be in life, and felt like we lost our spark. Me being the caring and loving GF that I was, I asked him what he needed from me. I suggested we go into relationship counseling. I was always checking in on him, on how he felt, and he always told me we were good. This break thing that he suggested caught me by surprise. We were both crying a river of tears. Then he told me he couldn't stand seeing me so upset and left. I found out he left me crying in my apartment to hang out with another girl that same night. Fast forward to Thursday night. I showed up at his house with my best friend to cut him out. He had blocked me from texting or calling him, and he never thought I would show up at his house. Elmo, his stepmom and stepbrother, kept tabs on him and let me know when he'd be home. I contemplated for 2 days about not doing it, trying to be the bigger person, etc. But I felt so disrespected. He had gave me an STI back in September, and we both didn't know where it came from. Now I know I got it from him cheating on me. I showed up at his house and barged open his door. The look on his face was as if he saw a ghost. He kept asking what I was doing there. I cussed him out and he couldn't see anything. He looked as if he was drunk and high and was reacting slow. He tried to put his hands on me, but my best friend jumped in. It felt so good to get my emotions out. His family was shocked and couldn't say anything because they had never seen me get like that. He continued to lie to me and said there were no other girls. I followed him outside, still cussing him out, and he tried to get in his car. I had my hand on the car window and he tried to close the door with my hands still there. I shoved the door back and he tried to slam it when the door panel popped out and fell on the ground. He then threatened to call the cops, and I told him to call them so I can tell them about how he knowingly gave me an STI. He never called them Elmo. I'm now sitting in my car reflecting, and I realized that he was jealous of me. He always told me how he wanted to be the dominant one and the provider in our relationship. I was 22 when we met, 23 now, and I have my own apartment. 2 cars, great credit, lots of friends, decent job side hustles, nice car. I'm extroverted, loving family, self-control, and I never asked him for anything but his love, time, and attention. I also took care of him and would spoil him by paying for haircuts, putting gas in his car sometimes while still paying my own bills. He, however, grew up on survival, almost got kicked out. The military, twice due to getting a DUI, made way more money than me but had terrible spending habits, is in debt, has a nice car that he can barely afford, terrible credit, can't stop drinking and smoking weed. Terrible family unit, lives with his stepmom and dad, who is a bum and is overall a self-destructive. What attracted him to me? He was honest in the beginning about his faults and told me how he wanted to change and be better. I was attracted to his potential and loved how he acknowledged his problems and tried to work on them. In the end, he turned out to revert back to his destructive ways. I am everything he wanted to be, and he knew he wasn't good enough for me. I remember he used to ask me all the time why I was even with him because of that. His resentment for me grew over time, and he felt like he had to hurt and humble me by cheating. I will admit he did succeed in doing that, but I realize he is empty inside. He didn't grow up surrounded by love, so how I could expect him to know how to give it and more or less accept it? He didn't even love himself, so how could he love me? Realizing this has helped heal me in a way for anyone that has been cheated on. Please remember that it is not about you. You can do everything right. And guess what? It will never been enough for the wrong person. You will love again. You will meet someone who is praying to run into someone like you. I know it's hard, but allow yourself to feel every emotion and try to take it day by day. Thanks for letting me vent. Story 3. I overheard my wife talking about her cheating experience with my older brother while she was talking to her therapist. She shared in detail how they both passionately kissed, and he sexually groped and fondled with her breasts, ass over the clothes, while we were visiting my parents' house in the storeroom. I don't know if they slept together. From the conversation, I only heard that they both kissed. This happened last year when she was 4 months pregnant. I am in deep shock, and I am shaking right now as I write this. I don't know what to do or what to say, or if I should confront her or him. My wife is a good mother to 3 beautiful young children, 6 years old, 2 years old, and a 4-month-old. She kept saying that she is trying to call him and get a hold of him, but he has ghosted her since. Now she wants to confront him for using her and then ghosting her. Update. We spoke today because she can see how I am extremely uncomfortable and sad. She asked me if I heard anything while she was talking to her therapist. I said no, I didn't hear anything. I told her, why are you so worried about me hearing your conversation? She said something along the lines of, there are stuff in the past and I want to get over it. Our discussion continued as she pressed me to talk. She said that she doesn't like to see me sad or upset. I told her that you are a liar. You say something and do the opposite. Quick story short, I told her. You tell me you are hiding stuff. Be honest and stop lying to me. She said I have done mistakes and have hurt myself in the past. I regret all the mistakes I did. I told her you didn't just hurt yourself. You hurt me. And then she said, our kids too. I said, of course. I told her I cannot go on life with you living a lie. You hurt me and gave me a hard time, just enough so that I can divorce you. Just say that you don't want this life and we can go on our separate ways. She said, no, this is the life I want. But I didn't know. I was lost. I am still lost, but not as lost as before. I am in a clearer picture now. She tried to hug me and kiss me, but I wasn't interested. I haven't told her that I know about her doing her thing, but if she knows I know, then we are definitely done. Story 4. Hi all. We've been dating for just under 3 years. We started dating during COVID and have had a good relationship with some ups and downs due to the nature of her work. She travels 2 to 3 times per year around the country. I've never had reason to believe that she would cheat on me previously. However, this trip to large companies merged, so they all went on a trip to get to know each other. She left me on Thursday with our 2 cats. This morning I was borrowing her laptop as mine died when a text came through from someone I didn't recognize. I clicked on the text and saw their conversation. To summarize for context, she shared a room with on a GF current Jeffrey guy she cheated with talking about being on the plane. On A, said there was lots of snoring, so I'm sure you had a good sleep. Harry shit, yeah, I sometimes snore if I'm really tired. I won't tell anyone. JF, yeah, obviously, Harry, keep this between us, please. JF, my beef would kill me. Nothing happened, but I'll see you when I visit his state. She's away for another 2 nights. Any advice on what I should do? Do I confront her now or wait till she's home? I never thought she'd cheat on me, but guess I was wrong, Lamau. Edit. To clarify, Jeff is not on the plane. She's staying 2 extra nights. Anna and Jeff were sharing a room with separate beds. Anna said she heard snoring too. Jeff. Harry says he snores when he's tired. Edit again. They're not on the plane. This is in the hotel room she's sharing with Anna. The messages are in the morning prior to the events of the night.